بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
إلهكم إله واحد فالذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة قلوبهم منكرة وهم مستكبرون لا جرم أن الله يعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون إنه لا يحب المستكبرين وإذا قيل لهم ماذا أنزل ربكم قالوا أساطير الأولين ليحملوا أوزارهم كاملة يوم القيامة ومن أوزار الذين يضلونهم بغير علم ألا ساء ما يزرون.
And the people of Syria, they turned to Salahuddin rahmatullah alayh. And this was the time that Salahuddin started on his expeditions. Salahuddin rahmatullah alayh spent longer, understand this, he spent longer fighting Muslims than he did non-Muslims. He fought with Muslims for over 10 years because he understood that if you are divided, you are weak. You are weak nationally, globally. In a community, if you are divided and you are susceptible to invasion, but if you are united, you are strong. And he understood this, and for over 10 years he fought with other Muslims to unite them. And the historians mention that Salahuddin would say, if it was not for the sake that I want to drive out the Crusaders, I wouldn't care how many Muslim rulers there were. But Ibn Ash-Shabab mentions that since Salahuddin had made this intention to remove the Crusaders from the Holy Land, he said, if a person took an oath, took an qasam, that he spent every single penny in the way of jihad, he would not be wrong. He said the only thing Salahuddin spoke about was jihad. If anybody wanted to get close to Salahuddin, they would speak about jihad. Men wrote entire books on the topic of jihad for Salahuddin rahmatullah alayh. Entire books. And the other Muslim rulers said to Salahuddin, they said, oh Salahuddin, we will give you money, go back. And Salahuddin said, how can I unite with you people? How can I negotiate with you people when you are in one valley and I am in another valley? The value that he attributed to them was the value of this dunya, the value of preserving their kingdoms, while the value that he attributed to himself was the value which led to the akhirah, the value of preserving this ummah. And this is why Sheikh Abul Hasan Nadwi rahmatullah alayh, he said, he defined once, defining Salahuddin, he says, Kana mu'minan musliman muhammadiyan la ya'rifu ghayra lughatil Qur'an. He said Salahuddin was a Muslim. He was a Muhammadi. He was a mu'min. The only language that he understood was the language of the Quran. The only language that he understood was the language of Islam and Iman. And today you have many Kurds who dislike Salahuddin. They dislike Salahuddin because they believe that he did nothing for their nation. But by Allah, if Salahuddin was here today, he couldn't understand their language, because he didn't understand the language of nationalism. He didn't understand the language of Qawmiyah, and this is my tribe and this is my country. He understood one language, and that was the language of Iman and Islam. And the amazing thing was that the Muslim leaders united with the Crusaders to fight Salahuddin rahmatullah alayh. Many of them sided with the Crusaders, and they released a man who was the greatest arch enemy of Islam, a man called Reginald de Chatillon. For 15 years this man had been in prison. Nuruddin had left him in the dungeons of Halab. They released him so he would be a thorn in the side of Salahuddin. And what did this man do? Soon as he mustered up an army, he marched on Makkah. And na'udhu billah, he was saying, when I reach Makkah, I will bring the Kaaba to the ground. And then na'udhu billah, he said, I will go to Medina. And na'udhu billah, I will take the camel herder from his grave, speaking about the Prophet ﷺ, and I will bring him back to my palace in Kerok, and I will charge the Muslims to view his body. And the narrations mention that when Salahuddin heard this, He took out his sword, he lifted it to the skies, and he said, by Allah, I will kill Reginald with my own hands. Because he had a deep love for the Prophet ﷺ. The historians mention that Salahuddin never listened to a hadith standing up. When a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ would be recited, he would sit down and he would make everybody else sit down. This is the love that he had for the Prophet ﷺ.